Dr. Brennan?
Yes.
Hi, this is Pamela Cerdeira from Mexico City.
Hi, Pamela. How are you?
Fine. Very grateful you had the time to take my call. Can we start the interview so I won't steal more of your time?
Of course.
Thank you, Dr. Brennan. We in Mexico are surprised with the speed it took from what we thought was going to be a tropical storm to a hurricane on the magnitude it was. How did you from the U.S. started seeing things, and when did it all started?
What was the question again? How did we see things, and when did things start? Is that what you're asking?
And if you got, with how many anticipation did you get to know this was going to be a hurricane the magnitude it was?
Sure. Well, it really didn't become apparent until Tuesday afternoon when we had the Hurricane Hunter aircraft fly into Otis and measure how strong the storm had become already. By that time that we realized that the storm had already begun to rapidly intensify and that it would likely continue. And at that point, we raised our intensity forecast that came out late Tuesday afternoon to show a forecast of a Category 4 hurricane before it reached the coast. And then early Tuesday evening, we updated that forecast again as we continued to see Otis strengthen. And at that point, forecasted a Category 5 hurricane. But we really did not have a accurate picture of how strong Otis was until the aircraft arrived in the storm on Tuesday afternoon and found that it was 20 to 30 miles per hour stronger than satellite imagery would have suggested at that time.
But when you're saying Tuesday afternoon, you mean approximately what time? 12 o'clock?
Let's see. It would have been early. Well, we put out a statement around 1 p.m. Central Standard Time Tuesday afternoon. Once we had the initial data from the aircraft, it said Otis looks like it's almost a Category 3 hurricane, and we're going to update our intensity forecast that comes out at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And that was when we issued the next forecast update. And then we issued another update at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time to update the forecast to show Category 5 intensity before it reached the coast.
Till 6 p.m. What has happened that even that you said the satellite images weren't giving this precise information that you only could get when you got the aircraft?
Yeah, well, the satellite imagery can give you an estimate of how strong the storm is, but there's uncertainty in those estimates because it's not directly measuring the winds in the storm. It's looking at the cloud pattern and how the shape of the clouds look, and it gives you, and you can estimate how strong the storm is from those satellite pictures. But there's uncertainty in that, more uncertainty than if you're able to fly an aircraft in there and directly measure the winds, for example. So at that point in time, early Tuesday afternoon, the satellite intensity estimates ranged from, in Category 1 to a potentially a Category 2 hurricane. And when the aircraft got in there, we were able to tell that Otis was almost already a Category 3 hurricane at that point.
Did you have any, or do you regularly have any communication with Mexican authorities when you get to see these?
When we get the what?
When you get to see this.
What was the last part of your question?
Do you regularly, or in this case, get to have any contact with Mexican authorities?
We coordinate directly with the meteorological service on our forecasts, and we provide that information to them, and then they coordinate the issuance of the watches and warnings that the meteorological service issues for the coast of Mexico, and we include that information in our product.
Okay, so everyone was informed at real time that what was happening and what you had.
Yes, and we send out public messages to that effect as well. Those products go out to the media and go out on our website, and they are publicly available too. So we always try to make that information as available as quickly as we can.
Is this usual, or is this something new that we get to see that in that just short amount of time, what we thought was a tropical storm got to be a hurricane Category 5?
Rapid intensification is unusual by its definition. But the particular rate of strengthening we saw in Otis was extremely unusual. The fact that the winds increased by about 70 miles per hour in a 12-hour period, 80 miles per hour in a 12-hour period, and 115 miles per hour in a 24-hour period is nearly record-breaking in terms of the intensification rate that Otis underwent. So that it is very unusual to see a storm strengthen by that amount that quickly.
It would have been impossible to know before time.
I won't say it would have been impossible to know. We have made progress in forecasting these types of rapid intensification events, and we actually do sometimes forecast rapid strengthening, although to the extent that Otis intensified that quickly, it would have been difficult to make a forecast to capture that rate of intensification. But we have made some successful rapid intensification forecasts in the last several years, but as they are not perfect, and we still have a long way to go in terms of improving science and our ability to predict that kind of change.
Doctor, is there something you would like to add?
I think that's it. I think we've covered everything, and I appreciate your questions.
No, thank you very much for your time.
Bye-bye.